We are back in the build-up to the Winter World Cup break in a championship, and the good news is we are flying. The start has been beyond our wildest dreams, the depth in the squad has really helped, and now we've got 3 tricky games to go into the World Cup, and then we're on the cusp of player unhappiness. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 4 of Built in Bristol with me, Daniel. We're powered by HelloFresh, and today we are going to need all of that good food in the build-up because we are playing Sheffield United and Middlesbrough in 2 of our final 3 games before the World Cup. We've also got Watford on the final day before it too. All of those sides in the top half, and 2 of them, including today's opponent Sheffield United, are in the top 6. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we deal with them, as we have started, well, pretty remarkably, and please do put a thumbs up on it. I can't explain how we've got to where we are other than we've played really good football. We've been generally exemplary at home despite maybe a brief slip up at the weekend. But you can see we are 6 points clear of 7th, which ironically is Cardiff, who have had a good season as well. And although we've got a few players on the cusp of unhappiness, at the moment we're doing a very good job. There are a couple of funny little updates as well. We'll get to those in a minute. If you're looking forward to it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. But first, let me run you through the schedule for what's been happening in the last couple of months. So the first thing, we didn't sign Carl McFadzean. The second thing, we had an atrocious September after you left us, which you wouldn't have expected from looking at the table. But then we've had a pretty exceptional October, aided again by a pretty friendly fixture schedule, and a couple of teams being underrated in FM. So you were with me as we got back to scoring form with a brilliant 4-0 win against Huddersfield, but in September, after those exciting signings, it started as we expected. We played 3 very tricky away games and lost them all narrowly, and we won 1 home game by a 0-0. So we lost 1-0 at Blackburn. John Buckley got the winner for them. We played Preston at home with Naki Wells scoring a priceless goal for us. We did rely on the goalkeeper to be man of the match, but we won't worry about that. A 1-0 defeat at Norwich thanks to Grant Hanley's header. A 2-1 defeat at Burnley thanks to September Player of the Month Lyle Foster, who scored either side of Andreas Weiman's equaliser. But then in October, after the international break, we had a couple of players back. We had a couple of players ending unhappiness, namely Alex Scott incidentally. And look at the form that has followed. 7 games, 7 unbeaten, only 3 goals conceded, and 6 wins before a brief slip up at the weekend. So we beat QPR by 3-2. In truth, we let them back in it more than we should have. Wells and Cornick put us 2 up as Jamal Lowe threatened the show, but Reece Williams, who has become a proper goal threat, scored 3 last month, was actually Young Player of the Month. He did a really good job. He got us the 3-2 win. It was 1 each for the strikers, Wells and Lyle Taylor, who got his first since joining against Coventry. A 3-0 win away at Birmingham with late goals from Conway and Sykes adding to Williams' opener. A first-minute goal from Alex Scott made it a bit more comfortable against Millwall. Reece Williams added yet another in the second half. A 2-0 win against West Brom, an early goal for Weimann, a late goal for Conway. 2 for Wells against Reading, a penalty late in the first half, and an even later second goal to add to it. And a 1-1 draw against Swansea thanks to a brilliant Cal Naismith free kick, which got us out of jail in a very good performance, but again, a bit of a toothless display. So generally, we're not scoring as many as our chances would suggest, but we're playing great football, we're developing a young side, and we are impressing in the playoff places. However, I don't want to get too excited, because we've played nearly all of the sides once now, but if you look at the ones that we haven't played, the next 3 opponents are 3 of them, they're absolutely brilliant, and Stoke are another, who, to be fair to them, having a pretty good season so far. They've just dropped to 13th, but are in the playoff race. So we've got 4 very tricky games against teams that we haven't played yet this season. In spite of points deductions, it looks like we're going to have a good year. They're up to 17th already, and they would have been up in 15th if they hadn't had those points off. And the Championship is doing what the Championship does, bar Norwich, who are deciding to run away with the league. However, you can see some of the results where we have lost this season. Probably not ones we should be too upset about. That month I talked about a bit earlier in the season, it was against Norwich, Blackburn and Burnley we lost. We're playing the only other 2 sides in the top 6 in the next week, and one of those will be in this episode. So there is a potential for us to just drop off a little, but we will probably be in the Championship playoffs at the World Cup break, which is an exceptional effort. The thing we've got to be wary of, though, is dynamics. You can see, in spite of our good performance and things going well, the managerial support is dropping quick. There's two reasons for this. One is highlighted by Cameron Pring there. A few players have come for a new deal, and they've managed to get players on side. But they want stupid wages, and it's a bit like Luton in this save. There's a similarity there. They're players that are starting on lower wages, that have been at the club for years, that are happy, but now suddenly want to earn 3, 4, 5 times what they're on at the minute. It's just not feasible to do that for everyone. The second one is players that are unhappy and are not playing, because we brought people in thinking they would be more involved, but I'm almost trying not to change a winning team too much here, other than when we're playing 3 games a week. So people like Jay Da Silva barely kicked a ball and are very unhappy, but in January, we can possibly move them on. A quick loan update as well, because there are players doing very well away from the club. People that are out, Masengo, one of them, having a good season over there. Not got the best average rating, but improving off the pitch and developing his attributes. Moore, unfortunately, has picked up an injury, but Bajic is doing okay. Sean Ruffin is having a decent year. He's playing well in League 2 for Leyton Orient. We also loaned back out Ogie. He went to Salford, where he's playing really well this season. So there are signs that things are going to get very good, but not immediately. Now we've got to try and sneak in the playoffs. We saw in real life this year, the championship is open. Can we take advantage of that? Well, these 2 games are probably going to give us a bit more of an indicator. We're playing Sheffield United on the Tuesday night, and because of those struggles against Swansea on Saturday, we played everyone to the end that needed to. And that may mean we've got a few tight legs out here today. 20,000 through the gate at Ashton Gate. Williams is suspended, but McCrory's a great sub. There's quite a bit of fatigue elsewhere, and notably with Cameron Pring at left back. That has been the problematic one for us this year, so I'll be back in a moment when I've decided the team. Okay then, I've decided to take a few gambles this midweek. We'll try and split the squad across the 2 games. So we've bought Jack Hendry in at centre half. We've also bought in McCrory, that's enforced due to the suspension. And I've changed the attacking midfield 3 as well. Scott's not fit enough, so he has to drop to the bench. We've also replaced the 2 wide men, so Vyman and Cornick drop out as well, and Conway and Sykes come in for them. I've also stuck with Nahki Wells because he scored nearly all of his goals at home. And then we'll bring in Lyle Taylor for the Friday night game. We'll also probably do the same with Kane Wilson and maybe even Atkinson at the back as well. So I'm trying to mix and match it and stay as strong as possible for every game. Whether it'll work for these 2, I don't know. We've not had many back-to-back games against opposition this strong. And when we did in September, we lost them both. So this is the team we've gone for in full. Hiking keeps his place in goal. Naismith moves out to left back with Tanner on the right. Hendry and Williams, the 2 centre halves. McCrory in alongside Matty James, who probably won't do Friday either. Jordan Clark in as the number 10. And then Sykes and Conway off Wells up front as we aim for a result at Sheffield United. It's a big home game for us with a rotated side. But generally where we've been positive and front-footed, we have dominated games and we have had a threat. It's just that we haven't scored enough chances at times. Now hopefully Nahki Wells can find a bit of form. With the fresh legs out wide, we'll create a few chances. Into the first half we go. Let's find out if it works. We're 10 minutes on the clock and we're back with Sheffield United in possession. It's the wide centre halves we always talk about with them. It's a long ball forward which is aimless. Of course, under Heckingbottom in real life, a brilliant season. Here, they're doing pretty well as well, and they will overtake us with a win today. As Jordan Clark looks to stop that wide to Conway. Has played really well in recent games off the bench, so a chance from the start. He's not going to get on the end of that ball. Fotheringham able to pick up easily. And this is another one of those long highlights which has started with a pretty mundane approach. Williams heads away the long ball. McCrory misses it. Falls for Norwood in midfield, who gives it to Ndai. Off to Marseille in real life. Out wide to Lowe. McAtee. Through ball, but which is intercepted by Williams, and Tanner can bring it forward. Where is the highlight here? It's a long ball forward which Wells will chase. Egan brings it down. Makes a mistake. There's the highlight. And that's why we play Wells in the home games. Apologies for my hand, which was cracking to bits. I am getting old now. But Nahki Wells has given us the lead. He can let everything out today because he's going to be rested at the weekend. But he started this one in style. And while he has had, you saw in the last 5 games, 4 of them he's been awful. He's scored 10 goals this year. He's been a match winner. And if you have a look at his form overall, he popped up with a 2 against Huddersfield, 2 against Reading. Maybe he just likes playing on camera by the looks of it. But also 1 crucial goal in big wins as well. He does have an awful game and then a crucial goal in him. So He's the sort of player that you don't need to rely on for 90 minutes. You just need that one moment. With Lyle Taylor coming to form off the bench as well, we're starting to look very promising. And although we didn't beat Swansea at the weekend, we did play very well. And as you saw last time against Huddersfield and whole the episode before, we've got quality at times as Wells gives the ball away. Long one downfield, intercepted by Hendry. Incidentally, the first time these two played together at centre-half, because Hendry was out injured the first month. Then he was on international duty. And generally it's been Williams dropping out because he's been the less fit of the two. But this time, it allows us to bring Naismith over without any real concern. As Basham plays up to McAtee and Norwood gets in behind again. It's a good through ball. Iliam and Dye's in. And that is a stinking finish. Absolutely awful from the lads. We have still had the only shot on target. Albeit, that probably should have been 1-1. As Naismith puts a free kick in. Williams the target again but can't get there. He might be the only one over 6 foot in that box most of the time. But boy does he make it count. As McCrory gets the ball wide to Sykes. There's 3 in the middle. Can he find the cross? Yes, he can. Conway's up. Was he onside? Tipped onto the post by Fotheringham. It's brilliant goalkeeping. And Tanner is on the front foot again. It peters out in the end. But what a first half performance. We've offered up just one chance really to United. And we lead at the break, which is crucial. Let's get through to the second half. We've got plenty of subs if we need them. I'd like to get a second goal. And hopefully we can then rest a few for the weekend. Seems weird to say that against such strong opposition. As Matty James wins a header in the middle. It's given away to Jordan Clark. Yet to score a goal. But he's put the brilliant through ball. Puts the pressure on the defender. John Egan has had a stinker back there. And he gives away the penalty for a foul on Wells. And it could be another game with a brace for him. Yes, it is. Into the corner. He's been very solid from the penalty spot. And Naki Wells, another 2-goal display. And possibly another match-winning performance. As we're back on the right-hand side with George Tanner, playing a 1-2 with Sykes. It's a good ball down the line. Those fresh legs out wide really working. It's cleared away as far as Naismith. To Conway. Lovely turn inside. Goes for the shot. Oh my! Young Tommy Conway. He's made an impact off the bench a few times and now he's doing it from the start. How long before he pushes into the starting 11? We'll get to the hour mark, but now I think we can gamble on resting people. Cal Naismith is one I'd love to bring off. He's going to be replaced by possibly Atkinson, maybe Jay Da Silva. I'll tell you what, actually, we'll go for Kane Wilson. We'll switch Tanner to the left. We'll bring off Williams for Atkinson and swap Hendry over. We're also going to take off Matty James, who we'd like to have fit for the weekend. The only real replacements we've got, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll drop Clark in. We'll put Sykes in the number 10 role. And then on the right-hand side, we'll go for Lyle Taylor for now. And we'll leave it at that. But we have got Vyman and Cornick fit if need be. Jay Da Silva can come on if we desperately need it. But with 3 subs made, with 61 minutes gone, this is a dream performance so far. After the disappointment at the weekend off camera against Swansea, it's the perfect way to bounce back as it's to the back post from a corner. Out to Conway, who might go again. Tommy Conway over the bar. He's the one I think alongside Scott who's probably going to make it in this save. He's improving already. He's definitely got a threat. And he's got that physical edge as well. As with 20 to go, let's give Tanner a rest now. We'll bring Jay Da Silva on at left back. Don't know if he's actually played this year. 1 cup tie, that's it. So his first league appearance. And then Sykes and Conway both knackered. I think we'll give Conway a break. So on comes Andy Vyman for him. Or should I bring on Cornick? No, we'll stick with Andy Vyman. We've mentioned how important Cornick is away from home. We saw it with our own eyes on the opening day at Hull, didn't we? We've got 10 minutes to go. I mean, we're doing the unthinkable at the minute. We're up to second place as it stands. Yes, we've got 2 very tough games to come. But I'm almost surprised at how well we're playing. With 89 minutes gone, there's no threat on this game. Would be nice to keep the clean sheet. But it's a joy to watch. We have been a really good side. I just hope that morale and unhappiness that's soon to come is not going to affect the squad too much. Of course, we'll get the same with Alex Scott, who's ended his unhappiness. But for how long with the January window around the corner? Do we even take it if we get big money? Because he's not been one of the stars this year. It's a long ball forward, which Atkinson deals with. Another player we'd like to get a bit more football to. Plays Vyman in. Down the left, there's 4 in the middle. Sykes is 1. Good save the first time. Good block the second. I'm really excited about this save because we are playing brilliant stuff. As Wilson puts the corner in. Hendry's up. Headed away as far as Vyman. He takes on his man down the left side, gets to the byline into Sykes. Another save from Fotheringham. 3 minutes added on. And Sheffield United all over the shop. No shot on target. You feel that chance they missed with Ndiaye at 1-0 is going to haunt them. And it did. A 3-0 win. We got the rest people for the weekend. But the difficulty is the Middlesbrough game is moved to Friday night for TV. We've only got 3 days to recover. Back in a minute. See if we can. Well, here we go. Fitness test time ahead of the Borough game. And Anis Mehmeti is back after a couple of months out injured. Played a reserve game, got injured again, but thankfully should be all right now. Mark Sykes, as you can see, not quite fully fit. Had a bruised knee from that last game. So let's see what state this squad is in. We've gone to Mehmeti again for some reason. But for now, as FA Cup first round day is here, we are being recommended 8 changes to the team. Hopefully some will strengthen us. And they probably will, because we've got those players that didn't play in midweek. We've also got a few that are struggling. Cal Naismith and Mark Sykes chief among them. So let's go and adjust this squad again. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Okay then, a bit more rotation and a bit more trying to keep the squad fresh. So what we've done today is we brought Kane Wilson in at right back for Tanner. Has been playing better recently and has the lighter match load. So a bit like what we had with Conway and Vyman in midweek. Conway does keep his place. There's another decision. Pring comes straight back in at left back to replace Naismith, and we keep the same 2 centre halves. We've brought Alex Scott back in the holding role, probably the biggest decision this week. We've left Jordan Clark in as the number 10, and we've taken out Matty James, who drops to the bench. We've got to be aware of his injury past. Cornick back in on the right, Lyle Taylor in up front as planned, and on the bench, well, we're pretty strong, aren't we? Joe Williams returns, McCrory stays in the team, and we're going to stick with the 11 we've picked here. So how many changes is that in total? I'm not quite sure. Taylor, Cornick, Scott, Pring and Wilson. 5 changes in. Let's see how they work away at Middlesbrough. They're in the top half. They've not had the best start to the season, but they are still on the outside chase for that playoff. They'll be hoping to get closer today. Well, 5 changes also for Middlesbrough, but one of the men they keep in is Ryan Giles, now a Luton player, of course. I'll be keeping a close eye on him. But let's go and keep up the good form if we can. We're going to stick positive from the start because I have found it's worked better than trying to sit back against these teams. But there are the odd occasion where we just get outplayed. So away at a good team, that might be a risk tonight. As we're back, we're just under 15 minutes on the clock and the stats would suggest it's been all Borough so far. But Conway's up, Taylor's offside. I don't know why we needed to worry about that. Tommy Conway is definitely a threat on that left wing. He's got the height, he's got the physicality, and he's still got the attacking attributes to get in the box as well. As it's a corner for Borough, headed away well by Pring to an injured McGree. He's good from distance. Oh, that's unfortunate. Big deflection on the shot. Who was it that hit? Hendry. There's nothing you can do about that. 1-0 to Middlesbrough. It's a deserved lead based on the stats we've seen so far. But the way it's come about is a little unfortunate. We're going to encourage the lads, try and get a positive reaction. But so far, we've not offered an awful lot, which it has been, despite our brilliant start, a bit of a worry at times on the road, particularly against the top half teams. We've not been brilliant away from home. We've not really found a way to dominate the games, which is something we've done against everyone else and in all our home matches. So we're going to keep an eye on fitness here because Conway and Jordan Clark both really struggling already. And in fact, we're going to bring them off. But Borough aren't running away and dominating this game, as we've seen with the likes of Burnley and Norwich. So I'm not as concerned. I'm going to bring Joe Williams on for McCrory, Clark off for Matty James, and we'll push Scott back forward. And we're going to bring Conway off for Vyman and go back to the tried and trusted. That's 3 changes made with 55 gone. I will bring on Naki well soon as well, I think, because Taylor's not got into this one. But if we can nick an equaliser, I'll be happy. We've got to score from there. Oh, the pass is so poor back to Scott. We had a 4-on-2 there momentarily. And we took the slow option. It was played behind the player as well. That's really poor in the situation. As Dale Fry out to McNair. Borough trying to play out here. Big ball forward towards Reece Williams, who loses his header. But it's dealt with okay, then given away. Ryan Giles picks it up. We know he's got a cross on him. Gets to the byline. It's a wicked ball. And Matt Crooks heads over. Is he playing up front? I'm pretty sure he is. Bit of a bizarre move, that. But it is a level pegging game. Anything could happen. Let's get Taylor off for Naki Wells. And we'll also, do you know what? We'll take Wilson off as well for Tanner. Let's get back to the first team here. 2 changes to be made. That'll be all 5 now. Please don't give us an injury after. As Cornick's got the ball on the right, the subs are still pending. Delivers a cross which is blocked and Scott will lose his header. Is this going to fizzle out? Or will Barra get the second with the famous highlights pending? We know what's going to happen. Changes pending on a highlight. Oh, my biggest FM superstition. We avoid conceding. There's a positive start. Tanner is on and he's taking a throw to Cornick. Good turn from him. Options in support, goes alone. Long distance shooting, in fairness, has never really been his strength. And with 20 to go, despite having more of the shots on target, we've not really looked like breaking them down. So we're going to encourage the lads again, try and keep them on this front foot. We've definitely been the better team second half. We've not created enough just yet, as Cornick gets down the right to Alex Scott. Yet to see a big moment from him today. Cross is blocked. It was pretty poor in truth, but Stefan's clearance is awful. Vyman gets it from James to Cornick. Across the box to Wells. He's offside, I think. Is it given? Oh, it's given. Is it just me, or did that look a mile offside? I mean, I'm going to keep it quiet. I'm not going to complain. And it's Harry Cornick again with that crucial delivery out wide on the break. And away from home, he's our biggest threat. But Naki Wells has nicked us a point off the bench. He has been a super sub today in addition to his brilliant performance last time. Star of the episode for sure. And 4 points out of 6 is an incredible effort. We stay in second place on 41 points. And the World Cup break, I tell you what, it's coming at the wrong time for this side. Well, Wrexham beating Tranmere in the FA Cup. Fred Onyedima's at Ipswich. What's going on there? A player we did try to sign briefly at the start of the summer. Alex Scott has got a fitness concern. Those under 21 games catching up with him too. But when the World Cup starts, we'll give him a couple of weeks off. Let him really recover. For now though, it is another brilliant episode. The unbeaten run stretches to 9. We've got a good away draw at Borough. We battered Sheffield United. I mean, this is going pretty swimmingly after a difficult September. Although he hasn't been one of the star performers, as soon as that unhappiness ended for Scott, the team has started to click. So maybe off the pitch, he's more important than we're letting on. A brilliant effort to leave us second in the championship. I'm not sure it lasts, but we're going to enjoy it. And adding that depth to the squad, where, as you saw against Sheffield United, we took out 4 or 5. And in the likes of Clark and Taylor coming off the bench, in bringing in Ross McCrory, we're bringing in good championship players. And that's something at the start of this save, we didn't know we were going to have. So a really thrilling spell so far. I'm delighted with where we are. We are going to come back probably at some point during the January window. I think it will depend partly on who we get in the FA Cup third round and whether we get through to the fourth or not. If not, it will probably be deadline day and Preston. So I don't want to show you Huddersfield yet again. But we'll see what the cup draws bring, and hopefully we can do a bit better than we did in the Carabao. If you're looking forward to that and you enjoyed this one, then please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments why you think it's going so well. Is it that extra squad depth? Is it the aggressive front-footed approach? Is it luck? Is it a lack of injuries? I guess we'll find out as we go along. Should we let Alex Scott go in January if we get the big offer? Let me know your opinion on that. And yes, as a couple of you mentioned, we won't use the shirt number again. We'll do a Bellingham at Birmingham. If you want to stay up to date with the series and find out if we can sneak into that top 6 this year, then do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with our Builder Nation tomorrow. It's a very big season in that one, and we did have our transfer special yesterday. Definitely one you don't want to miss. You can also find links to the football podcast in the eye above, which is stacked with championship content. As these episodes come out, I'm actually at Carabao Cup games this midweek, so you'll see plenty of clips from those. And also the Twitch channel for regular live streams and so much more in the description below. Shout out again to HelloFresh for their support with the channel this month. You can get yourself a discount while supporting the channel by using a link down in the top of the description. But thank you very much for your support as always too. We'll be back after the Winter World Cup. It's going to be a very big second half of the season. Now let's hope we can stay on track.